Thank you. And now I'd like to invite Rajesh David to lead us, who is an accomplished musician of Indian classical music and born into a family of singers. So it's Rajesh who's going to lead us in 4 verses from the Mandukya Upanishads, and as we are all on mute, we can sing to our heart's content in our own environment and join him. Just one little note, somebody did put their hand up, because there is a system where you can put your hand up in Zoom, but we're not able to take any questions. And if there are any questions you'd like to put to Rajesh, or I'm sure Father Richard or Leslie, you could do it either through me or through Liz Edmonds. So Rajesh, welcome from Wales, welcome to St. Martin's in the Field. You should be able to unmute yourself.
So, yes, I hope you can all hear me. And
great.
I'll start with Borada Shumai. This is greetings from Wales. And I really feel very blessed to be part of this group and to share this lovely moment with you all. So thank you very much. And so, as Jill said, from sound to silence, and that is my subject for this session. And we are going to look at sound and silence through the lens of an ancient Sanskrit text called Mandukya Upanisad. But before we do that, I would like to consider 3 sounds, and I'll just share the screen with you now. So we'd like to consider 3 sounds, and the first sound is the sound of and as in the letter A. And I invite you to join me in singing this sound. So after your in-breath, and the next sound we are going to consider is the sound of U, as in the letter U. And so once again, please join me. And the third sound I would like to consider is the sound of the humming sound, the as in the letter M. So once again, together, the humming sound. So you notice that the very nature of the sound is such that when we make the first sound with the a sound, our mouth is open. So it is a open sound. And then we go to the next sound, which is a oo. And suddenly you find that our mouth has become now rounded. Ooh. So open mouth and a rounded mouth. And then the third sound is a hum, and the mouth closes. And what happens to the sound? The sound internalizes. So as soon as we close the mouth, the sound internalizes and merges into a deep silence. And that silence is a very important space. So all these 4 aspects actually, the syllable the syllable oo, the syllable and the silence, all these 4 are an important aspect, and this is the wholeness of the whole sound. And what we will do now is we will sound this oo, together as one sound, and then merge into that silence. And when we merge into that silence, we'll be there for a short while. So together, after your in-breath, So that silence was a very important space. In fact, it is holding the whole sound. The way we look at it is that the sound merges into that silence, and the next sound comes out of that silence. So emerges out of the silence, from sound into the silence and out from there. So one would think that without silence, there is no sound. Silence is everything. And this really, what we have sounded now is Om. And this Om, the three elements of Om are O, and the silence. This is the subject matter of the Mandukya Upanishad. It's an ancient Sanskrit text. It's a beautiful text. And really what the Mandukya Upanishad says, it interprets the whole cosmos through the medium of sound. And not only that, it considers and it interprets consciousness as sound. And we will see this very soon. The Upanishad is a very short Upanishad. It's made up of just 12 verses. And we will consider 4 verses this morning. And I bring back the screen again. And straight, let us go to the Mandukya Upanishad and we'll take the first verse. And immediately in the first verse, we find a very bold declaration from the Mandukya Upanishad. And what it says is that Om, this imperishable word, is everything. This is the first bold declaration. And what it's saying is that the way it tries to explain this is that the past, the present, and the future, all that is Om. And what the Upanishad is saying is the past, present, and the future is our entire manifest universe. And I have a little visual representation of this verse. If you can see it over here, this central figure over here, this image is a very iconic image. And this is the image of our universe, which has been developed by our scientists and researchers by working and analyzing on the data received from the cosmic microwave background radiation. And this is our universe. And this whole image represents the entire space-time, the quantum world, the dark matter, dark energy, and even if we have multiple universes, all that is represented by this image. And this image is the image of the manifest universe, the world of name and form. And what the Upanishad is saying, the past, present, and future, Bhutam, Bhavad, Bhavishya. All this universe, this is Om. And then what it goes to say is that whatever is beyond this past, present, and future, whatever is beyond, so when we leave this world of name and form, and whatever is beyond, that too is Om. That too is Om. Therefore, it says, Sarvam Omkara Eva. Om is everything. So this is the first bold declaration by the Mandukya Upanishad. And as promised, we are going to sing this Upanishad together. And I'm going to play you a recording of my voice singing. And I would invite you to all join in with the singing. And the way I've put it is that I'm going to sing the whole verse, and then I'm going to repeat each line. And there'll be a female voice, and that's my partner's voice, Mary Bible. And when she sings, maybe that's a cue for you to join in, but feel free to join in wherever you feel comfortable. And of course, I must say that it is in Sanskrit. So if the words are a bit difficult to pronounce, don't worry. Just hum along, remembering that hum itself is a sound of Om. And that would be beautiful too. So I'll play you the track now.
idam sarvam tasyopavyakhyanam bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvam omkar eva yachanyat trikalatitam tadapi omkar eva. Tad aksharam idam sarvam Om iti tad aksharam idam sarvam tasyopavyakhyanam bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvam omkar eva yachanyat trikalatitam tadapi omkar eva bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvam omkar eva yachanyat trikalatitam tadapi omkar eva.
So we now move to the next verse, which is the second verse of the Upanishad. And here is another very bold declaration. And this is really the central idea of this whole Upanishad. In fact, this is the central idea of all Upanishads, and the very basic philosophy of the Advaita, that is the non-dual philosophy, is based on this central theme. And what it is saying is there are two words here, Brahma and Atma. And Brahma is the absolute consciousness, and Atma is our true essence, the selfhood. Okay, and this verse is saying, Sarvam Hyetad Brahma, I am Atma Brahma. That everything around, everything is that absolute consciousness. Everything is the absolute consciousness, and our very true essence, that is the absolute consciousness. So this is really a tremendous declaration. It's like an axiom. And the whole, as I said, the whole Advaita philosophy, the whole philosophy of non-duality is based on this central idea. And then it goes to say that Soyam Atma Chatushpat, that is our very essence, or that the absolute consciousness is expressing itself in four realms. So there are four realms to the self, the four realms to our true essence, the Atman. And once again, there is a visual representation for that. And I hope you can see this. And so the first statement is Brahman and Atman, they are the same, okay? So the absolute consciousness and our true essence is the same. And then here is the image of the Atman expressing itself in four realms. And the first realm here is the waking state consciousness. And if you notice, I have put back the image of the universe. And this is Jagrat Sthana, the waking state consciousness. So the waking state consciousness is this whole manifest universe. This is the Upanishad, what the Upanishad is declaring. That this entire world of name and form, this whole manifest universe, this is the waking state consciousness of Brahman, the waking state consciousness of our true essence, the waking state consciousness of the absolute consciousness. And then the next realm is the dream state consciousness. So when you move out of the physicalness into a deeper, subtler realm, that is the dream state consciousness, which is called as swapnasthana. And then moving still deeper into a more subtler realm is the deep sleep state consciousness, so shupsasthana. And these are the three realms of, of, uh, of the consciousness. And there is a fourth state, and that is fourth state, and it is called as Turiya. Turiya means fourth, and there is no name to this state because it is unfathomable. It is something beyond imagination. It's beyond words. You cannot describe it. It's unlike anything, and therefore the Upanishad just left it as, and they said this is the fourth state, and that is Turiya. And this fourth state, all this is Brahman, all this is Atman, all this is that absolute consciousness. And once again, we will sing this verse together in the same fashion. And I hope you are all able to listen to the track. Please, if I can see a thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, so let us play this song.
Sarvam hi tad brahma hayam atma brahma soyam atma chatushpat Sarvam hi tad brahma hayam atma brahma Sarvam hi tad brahma hayam atma brahma soyam atma chatushpat soyam atma chatushpat sarvam hi tad brahma hayam atma brahma soyam atma chatushpat soyam atma chatushpat
So in the next few verses, the Mandukya Upanishad begins to describe the four realms. And now we jump straight to the 8th verse. And here, the Upanishad is now bringing in the sound and equating sound with consciousness. And for the first time, it's now saying akar, ukar, makar. And these are the 3 syllables that we considered when we were making that sound right in the beginning. And the Upanishad is now declaring akar, ukar, makar. This is the nature of the sound. And what it's saying is that soyam atma adhyaksharam omkara. This Atman is omkar, om, is sound of om. And how it says is the sound, each of the sound, they are like measures. They are like a matra. Matra is a measure in the sense of a musical note. Like a musical note has got, is a measure, like a crotchet or a quaver, semiquaver, like a quarter note, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16. These are measures. So the Upanishad is saying the sound are like measures. So they are measures, and each of these measures are now connected with the three states of consciousness. So we have got the three states of consciousness, which we considered in the second verse, the waking, dream, and the deep sleep. And each of these is now directly connected or linked the with the consciousness state. So here is a visual representation of that. So is the waking state consciousness. U is the dream state consciousness, and is the deep sleep state consciousness. In its sounding. So when you sound this is all these three states of consciousness. And I would like to also say that this waking state, dream state, and the deep sleep state are our personal experience. We go through these experiences as we live through life. So we know this, we are aware of this experience. And therefore, the sound is our consciousness itself, the consciousness that we experience. And obviously, what is the fourth state then? And the fourth state is the silence. That is how the Upanishad is trying to connect this idea of sound and silence. And the fourth state, the Atman, the Brahman, is that silence. And the last verse will really bring this point home very clearly. If a, u, and are measures, if they are measures, defined as measures, then silence is amatra, that is no measure. There is no measure to silence. It is eternal, it is infinite, it is always present. And that is how the Upanishad is trying to understand sound and silence in terms of measure and measureless. So let us once again go and sing this song, sing this verse, Soyam Atma Adhyaksharam Omkara.
Soyam Atma Adhyaksharam Omkarah Adhimatram Padaha Matra Matra Shapadaha Akar Ukar Makar Iti Akar Ukar Makar Iti Soyam Atma Adhyaksharam Omkarah Soyam Atma Adhyaksharam Omkarah Adhimatram Padaha Adhimatram Padaha Matra Matra Shapadaha Matra Matra Shapadaha Akar Ukar Makar Iti Akar Ukar Makar Iti Akar Ukar Makar Iti Akar Ukar Makar Iti Akar Ukar Makar Iti.
And finally, we arrive at the last verse, and this is the final conclusion of the Upanishad. And like I said, it says Amatra Chaturtha. Chaturtha is the fourth, and the fourth is Amatra, without any measure. So it is silence, it's absolute silence. And this silence is unrelated to anything, it's unfathomable. One cannot put it in any word. So it is not defined. The moment we define it, you restrict it. You put it in a bracket. So this is beyond definition. It goes beyond everything. And this is where the phenomenon ceases. And this is that absolute non-dual oneness. And this is Om, and this is the self. Evam Omkara Atma Eva. This Om is the self. And this is the final conclusion of this Upanishad. So you see that it moved from sound and finally it arrived in silence. And both are important. In sounding, it is the manifest universe. In silence, it's the absolute. And our true essence is that silence. This is the key message of the Mandukya Upanishad. So we will sing this verse together, and after we'll have this Om Shanti, and then we will merge into that deep silence. And once we go there, let us be in that silence for a short while, at least about 10 minutes or so. And then I'll ring a bell to mark the end of that period. So singing the last verse of the Upanishad.
अमात्रा चतुर्थ अव्यवहार्यः प्रपञ्चोपश्मः शिवोऽद्वैत एवम् ओङ्कार आत्मा एव संविशति आत्मानात्मानं य एवं वेद चतुर्थ अव्यवहार्यः प्रपञ्चोपश्मः शिवोऽद्वैत अमात्र चतुर्थ अव्यवहार्यः प्रपञ्चोपश्मः शिवोऽद्वैत एवम् ओङ्कार आत्मा एव संविशति आत्मानात्मानं य एवं वेद एवं ओङ्कार आत्मा एव संविशति आत्मानात्मानं य एवं वेद